Is your digital marketing strategy already outdated in 2025? Let's find out. 2025 is going to be an incredible year for digital marketers. Technology and trends are advancing so quickly, and really for us, it's about either staying ahead or falling behind. And at Sound, we're here to make sure all our clients stay future ready and ahead of the curve, really taking advantage of all of these opportunities rather than falling behind. So let's dive in. So today we're going to be talking about 8 trends that you need to be aware of in 2025 and what you need to do about them to stay future ready. So let's start with addressing the elephant in the room, AI and creativity in digital marketing. I think by now all of us know what ChatGPT and other AIs are capable of and what they're not. And sometimes the results can be a little bit disappointing. If you're trying to use it to write a blog or write an email from scratch, that's not what you want, and that's not what your audience wants. But they're extremely powerful in the back end. We have taken on copy.ai as a tool, and we use that for all of our research, our structuring, making sure our content stays consistent, and then also adaptable to different brand voices. And here it can be completely transformational. Next up is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics in AI is still at a very nascent stage, but what we're seeing that it's capable of already is pretty mind-blowing. And in the next year, we're going to see a huge increase in the amount of data that goes into discovering what ad copies, what banners, what landing page variations, and things like that are going to win based on the audience that you have. So diving in and starting to use these tools can help you use big data and be data-backed in your approach even before you start your campaigns. Now let's talk about customer service and enhancing the customer experience. AI chatbots have evolved to the point where they can actually learn on a library that you provide them and then provide real-time answers. This is not the same as what we used to have, where you could pre-program a bunch of responses and a chatbot was capable of pulling from those responses. This is very different, where you're actually utilizing a library of information you have, and a chatbot is actually pulling that information and then presenting it to the user. It needs to be used carefully because, as we know, hallucinations and other types of mix-ups can happen, and we never want to be producing inaccurate or false information. But the amount of time that it can save you in having real live agents and also save your customers when it comes to getting instant answers can be really transformational. Next up is ad targeting. We all remember the days when you had to put in every single thing that you know about your target customer into Facebook ads in order to get a target audience. Their age, their location, the interests, the demographics, all of that. Now, the algorithms are getting much better at deciding for us who our audience should be based on what we're selling and who we tell them we're selling to. We need to adapt our approach to now relying on this complex and smart information and a combination of retargeting and first-party data to get really good targeting. We've seen incredible results by using modern tools to select our ad targeting for us. True marketing automation. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the word automation because sometimes the things that people tell you or advertise to you as automation aren't really automation, let's face it. But we are now entering the age of true automation, where not only can an email be sent based on a trigger that's pre-configured, but AI can learn on the fly, create an email, and actually put out a communication based on the objectives you give it to help someone down their customer journey. For specific types of businesses that have a lot of interactions and a pretty long funnel, this can be incredibly powerful at speeding up the customer journey, helping the customer get what they need faster, as well as them nurturing towards their goal. So trend number 1 is smarter content funnels. Back in the day, it was enough to have an ad, a landing page, a couple of emails, and then something that you were selling at the end of that. This is no longer the case. Customers expect to be nurtured on their journey and have a personalized experience based on how they would like to interact with you. So this is where the smart comes in. Nowadays, it's about being much more holistic when you approach your content funnel. Think of a user who comes to your website through maybe a Facebook ad. They may not be ready to buy, but they might be intrigued. You don't just want to send them a simple retargeting message with a discount and say, hey, come buy our product. They may want to learn more. They may want to see customer reviews about that. And that's a purchasing funnel. What about someone who started on your blog? What's the ideal pathway to get them from A to B, which is purchasing a product? Your content funnel going forward must be much more inclusive to all of this and help users move towards their destination on the journey in a way that feels natural and personal to them. AI search and SEO evolution. I could probably do a whole separate video about this, and I might at some point, but this is one of the biggest things that's going to be disrupted in 2025. Search GPT just came out, but Google, as you can tell and see, has already been testing various search-generated experiences that are different from the way results used to show. In the past, you get your ads and then you get your top 10 listings of websites. If you look at the search page now on Google or Bing or any of these search engines, it's a much more complex experience, and it relies on very different kinds of information. And that requires us to produce differently than what we used to before. It's no longer just about getting into one of those top 10 slots. It's about having answers to questions that people are searching for. It's about being ranked for a voice search keyword. We must think much more deeply about the short tail and the long tail keywords and what we really want to be considered an authority for. It's more important than ever before to be conversation and human in our approach. This is one of the big mistakes people make, where they take a blog topic or a search term that has high volume, get ChatGPT to write a blog for it, put it up on their website, and hope they start ranking. First of all, you're not going to rank for that blog because nothing original belongs in there. And second of all, the experience of reading that blog is not going to be desirable enough for there to be a virtuous cycle for Google to keep sending you traffic. This is where the human experiences, the business experiences, the case studies, and actual learned knowledge is much more important than book theory in your blogs. And it's really important to have a balanced approach to SEO where you're producing a lot of valuable content, but also giving people clear action steps that help them fulfill their journey. At the end of the day, when websites convert and when a goal is completed, Google is much more likely to send traffic back to that website. Remember the metaverse? That was going to be a thing for a little while. While the dreams of the metaverse may not have really materialized in the way that we thought, the technology behind that is still driving consumer experiences in two major ways: AR and VR. And the combination of these two, a secret third one, which is called mixed reality. So augmented reality, as we all know, is with your phone up. You'll have seen in the new iOS, you can scan buildings and Apple will try to tell you what's available in that restaurant, what's on the menu. That's all augmented reality. And that's very powerful. And there's many ways that brands can develop experiences around this. Then on the other flip side, you have virtual reality. That's, of course, like Apple Vision Pro, Meta Quest, and these other headsets, which are a completely immersive experience. These have incredible value in terms of its immersion, where you can have a full 3D world that people can explore and navigate, and you can't get closer to a brand than physical touch than with VR. The downside, of course, of that technology is you have to be completely wired up and you can't really operate in the real world. And this is where mixed reality comes in. If you've seen the Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses or other pieces of technology like that, they blend what's possible with the screen attached to your face through your sunglasses with the overlay of the real world. So you're not disconnected and you can still walk around and see where you're going and hopefully not bump into anything, but you can see the digital world overlaid on top of that. And this is where we feel the future lies. And so creating experiences that allow you to interact with people throughout their day in a meaningful way that's not disruptive is where brands can get ahead. Websites optimized for the user, not just for the technology. We've seen a massive rise in what we call DIY website technology over the last few years, and they're actually getting really competitive. For the first time in basically ever, we as an agency are sometimes recommending Wix or Framer or another one of these tools over something like WordPress, which may be much more established. And the underlying purpose behind this is not just technology. It's about creating what's best for every client and for what their customers need. And in many situations, having a big custom coded website doesn't really fit the bill. What's most important is that your website looks fresh and modern and looks like it was built for this time. But much more importantly, your website needs to be built with the user in mind. What are they hoping to accomplish on there? What are their goals and how can you get them there? And working with a scalable and easy to use platform can sometimes make that a lot easier because you can adapt to change quickly. You don't have to rewrite code and you can watch your users in real time and respond to that. This is going to be very powerful for businesses in the future to be able to customize and decide the flow of their users based on the data that they're seeing in a pretty short amount of time. So that's 4 out of the 8 major trends that are going to impact digital marketing in 2025. And we're going to do another 4 in the following video. So like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next video. Catch you there.